everybody, welcome back to the Fabric Beautique. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. So as you know, for those who are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video. But for those who are returning, welcome back. You know, this is the first week that we are diving into the Beth Moore Esther, and I'll pop up a picture too. Esther, It's Tough Being a Woman by Beth Moore. And so the goal today was to begin to just jump right in, go over week 1 and all that. But I decided to roll it back because I thought it was some viable information I wanted to share as we dive in. We are going over the introduction today. And so let me just kind of set the stage for how I would like for these videos to go out and some expectations that you may have. You can leave them down in the comments by all means. In the comment section, let me know if there's something else you want to see as well throughout this journey. But the first thing is I would like to keep the videos to under 10 minutes. If you already have the book, and again, I'll relink everything down below. But if you already have the book and you've been reading it or going through it or starting it, depending on when you're catching this, you know that each week is broken up into 5 days. So the video will go up every Wednesday. So starting today, March 13th, you'll see, and then it'll go for the next several weeks until we end the study. So I do highly encourage you to pick the 5 days that you want to have to select to make sure that you stay on track. So when Wednesday comes, you're done and you're just kind of going over the recap and maybe taking your own notes or maybe leaving a comment or feedback is really what I'm looking for. Feedback. So that's the goal. Keep the videos under 10 minutes. However, if it's something juicy we need to cover, we're going to take as much time as we need to, okay? And then the other thing is that I really wanted to point out was the resources. So for those who, and this is probably more so for those who may not be as familiar with doing Bible studies, women Bible study groups, maybe at church, or life groups that people do in their homes and different stuff like that, depending on how they're set up. One of the things I want to make sure that I share are resources. So as you are reading through the Beth Moore book, there's a lot of different words. Maybe there's some, because as Beth Moore does her studies, she discusses them in the context in which they were written at that time, right? And so if you find that maybe you might struggle with a definition of meaning or understanding, I wanted to share some resources with you that can really help you. Since I'm not going into that type of deep dive, there may be a few things as we go through the study, we'll see how things evolve, that yeah, I would have written down a definition or context or something, my understanding of reading that particular section, right, for that week. And so I wanted to share a few key things. Now I did do a whole separate video on this, but I thought it would be very beneficial to go over it again. There are 3 resources I highly suggest for you that you have in your arsenal to help you understand as you're reading. One is the Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary. That is this. I've had this for several years, many years. I purchased this off of Amazon. Yep, I said where I got it. Amazon. And so I highly suggest getting you a Bible dictionary. It's exactly what it says, a dictionary, right? And it has what I like. It also has pictures. So certain things that the Bible might talk about, and like this is Corinth, and it has like a picture of what the temple looked like, the different areas of the temple. So when you're reading it and you're kind of picturing in your mind, I don't know if you're like me and you're kind of visual and you're kind of thinking like, oh, how does that look? What's good about this is it has plenty pictures, so you can kind of see. Some are illustrations, some are actual photos from that particular area. And so highly suggest receiving that or getting yourself that, because I found it very useful. Then also get yourself the Strong's Exhaustive concordance of the Bible. And so this is every word of the Bible index in the Greek and Hebrew. And so you definitely want to get your hands on this. Yes, this is a thick one. I believe I got these at the same time. Yes, I did at the same time off of Amazon. So you will see words in here, and you get the meaning of it for at the time it was written and what it meant at that time. So if something was from the Old Testament, New Testament, Greek, Hebrew definition of that particular word, you will find that. Now you might have an app that covers all of this. That's good and well too, but for those who like something physical, definitely the next I suggest is the Strong's Concordance, exhaustive concordance, to have in your arsenal. And then the next item that I suggest, you know, I have gone on and on about this, it's the Tony Evans Bible Commentary. I love this. Any time that, and this here just gives you understanding, put in everyday layman's terms, what you just read, what it meant. And what it's talking about. If you don't understand something or you don't get something, that's exactly what this does. And so like I said, at least for the Bible dictionary, the concordance, you can always have a Bible app, the Blue Letter Bible app. You can have different apps on your phone. If you have, I know Priscilla Schreier have talked about Logos study. So if you're, you know, you have any of those tools, they're great when you're doing any type of Bible study. So whatever you're most comfortable with, familiar with, if you're not familiar with any of these, I say take a look at them on Amazon. I will leave a link down below and check them out. See if it's something that you want to grab. So those were a couple things I wanted to go over because I thought that would be beneficial as we go on this journey, so we understand what we are reading. And if there's something we don't understand, you kind of take the onus on yourself to say, hey, I need to get a better understanding of what this was about, what this chapter was about, or what these words mean. There are resources out there that you can invest in for yourself, for not just this type of Bible study, but any Bible study. Maybe there was a message at church, going over particular chapter scriptures or whatever, that you can do your own deeper dive in with these resources. So yeah, highly suggest. Now with the introduction, I just wanted to share a few of the highlights from the introduction. The introduction is only what, 3 pages? Yeah, it's only 3 pages. And so I don't have the leader's book where I have all of the answers for the I have most of the answers because I was able to fill them in, but I might not have all of the answers for some of the blanks. If you've gone through and see the questions where you fill in the blank, I might not have all of the answers for that. I don't have the leadership copy. I just have the regular Bible study copy. But I love the introduction where she's pretty much given us what the synopsis of what we should expect. And there were 4 things that she highlighted that I wanted to point out. The one thing that she said about going into an in-depth journey and studying God's word is that you may not be able to put it down. And so that might sound funny or whatever, like, oh, I never experienced that, but same here. You know, as I continue to grow in my own personal walk, I find I am just more and more curious about what certain things in the Bible mean. And then I start getting enlightened and seeing how things in the Bible, how they're applying to situations and circumstances going on today, not just in my life, but maybe somebody else's life, or just in the world in general. And so one of the things she said is, you may be about to start something you can't stop. And who wants to stop knowing God? Who wants to stop being intimate with God? And so I thought that first point was really good. And then which piggybacks on point number 2 is, she says, it is a divinely inspired meeting place where God reveals himself and invites us into relationship, which means when we are purposely seeking to get to know God, draw closer to him, oh, he's gonna be like, oh, come on in, I was waiting for you, let's go, let's do this. And so that's why I say these other resources really help you understand. So you're not just reading thee, thou, art, and all that over and over, and you're not really understanding what all of it means, but you start making a connection and seeing that relationship, because God is going to reveal himself. He's not going to hold himself back. When you seeking him, he's like, okay, I was waiting, because we all have a choice, right? And how much time we spend with God and all of that. The third point, as she says, is his word is living, healing, restoring, enlightening, directing, and empowering. She said it invades every part of our lives if we let it. That's the key word. If we let it. If we let it. So let God just use you in this moment. Remove the barriers. Make sure you take out that time, special time, just to read and get your resources, so then you can go a little deeper and get some understanding. The final point I want to talk about is how her, I wrote here, is Beth Moore's study dives deep, mixing the Old Testament, I mentioned this earlier, with the New Testament principles, and makes that connection between the Old Testament and the New Testament. You know how sometimes you may come across somebody specifically just talking out maybe of the Old Testament, or specifically talking from the New Testament. What I like about Beth Moore's studies is that she always makes the connection between the, if it's in the Old Testament, it's in the New Testament. It may be said differently, or you may not have noticed it. She will definitely pick that up. And what I can also say about Tony Evans' Bible study commentary, same thing throughout. When you're reading, say you're in the book of Samuel, or you're in the book, any book of the Bible, Old Testament, he always has that connection to the New Testament, and vice versa, New Testament to the Old Testament. So it makes a holistic sense, if that makes sense. And so that's what I wanted to start out today, of those 4 points in our introduction, what we can expect as we're diving in deep. Again, the day that you're seeing this is Wednesday, March 13th. So it's 7 days, it's a week until we dive into week number 1. So pick 5 days between this Wednesday and next Wednesday that you're going to go and begin week 1. So next week we can dive in. Like I said, I will do a highlight recap and maybe lift up a couple of the questions, because there are some pinpoint questions at the beginning of the chapter. Principal questions is what they're called at the beginning of the chapter. We may address those, or sometimes there's questions embedded in the days that you go over within those 5 days. Maybe we'll highlight 1 or 2 of those. We shall see as it goes. And then you might have something that you want to highlight. And like I said, as I close out today, if you find that anybody who's watching, you're thinking, oh, this would be nice to go a little deeper in this at the end after we finish this, by all means, consider joining the Fabric Beautique Facebook group, and we can definitely dive deeper there. But I do highly suggest go ahead and just leave your comments in the comments section, and we can dive deeper, and I can just make sure I'm reading the comments, and so I can address them in the follow-up video. So that's it for today, everybody. Let's go get your resources, get lined up, select the 5 days that you're going to start reading, and let's get ready for week 1. So the points I come up with, let's see what you come up with. All right, everybody, have a blessed one. Again, thank you again. If you would like to shop the Fabric Boutique, you can. The link will be down below. I do have prayer journals down there. I have a group of prayer journals that are discontinued, that the particular design is discontinued. I'll leave those down below. I believe those are marked down to $12.99 or $13.99, and it is free shipping for any orders over $50. I do have prayer and devotional pillows. I'll leave a link to all of the products where there's a playlist. If you want to get to know the products a little bit more, get a deeper knowledge of those, I'll leave a link to that. That'll pop up at the end of this video. But yeah, everybody, let's go. Let's get excited about this. And so yeah, have a blessed evening, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.